my beautiful crafty friends. Welcome to part 2 of our quick and easy folio. So this is the original album that I made. If you'd like to see a walkthrough of this album, I will link it up here and also in the description box below. I'll do a whole playlist of the videos to go with this tutorial. Last time on part 1, we constructed the folio and did all the pieces, and now we are going to decorate it. I have cut all of my pieces already just to save a bit of time, and I'll be using my Old World Textures paper pack for decorating this album. Even after cutting all my pieces, I still have many pieces left. So you could actually probably do about 3 of these folios with one paper pack of my Old World Textures. There's 33 or 34 sheets in all. I just printed it out once, and I have quite a few scraps left over as well, so you could do this 3 times or make a few different projects with it. All right, so I'm just going to start adhering these on. If you like, you could follow exactly what it is that I'm doing and put the papers in the exact same way, or you could use an entirely different paper collection. Completely your choice. I won't show me adding every single piece of paper because I feel like that would be boring. So we don't want boring. That's not what we're after here. I'm just going to put on one half because the other half is a mirror image, and then I will show you some of the extra little things that we're going to do on the other half. And just to let everyone know, I have inked up all of my edges with a little bit of Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo. So all I do is just take a little bit on my dauber and just go around the edges. It just takes away the white edge and just gives it a little bit of a antique kind of feel, which I really like. So that's optional. You don't have to do that, but I think it really adds to it. So I'm just going to put on some of my papers, and then I will go through it really slowly and show you what I have done, and then we will continue on together. Okay, so I've done this side. I'm going to go over it really slowly, and then we'll finish this side together because they're pretty much identical. So I've used some pieces just from the dollar store. They're just like these faux wood stickers. They're like, they have foam behind them, so I've just kind of taken them apart and then reattached them onto a double backing of white and black. This one says, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great." I've been really into some motivational sayings lately because I've been in a little bit of a funk, so I'm really trying to like pump myself back up. So these are perfect for this album. I've got a little embellishment here. It's a metal kind of door knocker. It's not quite adhered yet, so I'm going to be ginger with that. I don't want to move it too much. So when you open this up, in the pocket, I've got the brick down here in the pocket, plain green on this small tag. On this tag, I've got the smooth kind of cobblestones, and then just white on the inside so you can journal. Some of the terracotta roof tiles here, some of the rough cobblestone there, and then on the inside is just the terracotta color and then white for journaling. And let's go back in there. On this side, I've got some of the kind of rough rock wall with the vines going through it, and then some potted plants over on this side into a wall. And then here I use those same sayings from the dollar store. They're forever in time. This one says, "Dreams don't work unless you do." Love that one too. So it is a magnetic swing tab, and it opens up, and then we go up and down with these. And I've just got some little flowers from Prima, and I just took an ink dauber and just used a little bit of mustard seed, I believe it was, mustard seed distress oxide, just to make them a little bit yellow, just so they matched a little more with the flowers in here. And so they're also magnetized and open to the sides. And we've got more of the cobblestone and some white areas for journaling, and it's the same at the top. Okay, so that goes back like that. That closes and that closes. So let's finish this one over here together. Okay, we'll start on the inside and work our way out. So for these two here, I've got just the plain white, and I felt like it needed something, so I've just got like a little border of the green here. And we're going to add a couple magnets. You don't have to, I mean, this doesn't necessarily need a magnet down here, but I wanted to put one on. So I've done this one down here, so we'll do this one up here together. So I'm just going to put a tiny piece of score tape on the inside here. And then put two magnets that are magnetized together on top of that score tape. Another piece of score tape, and then close it up, and that will put the second magnet in the right place. So now we can put our pieces of white on the inside of this. So when you're matting things, I just like to leave whatever space you're matting, just measure that, and then cut about a 1/4 of an inch smaller, both horizontally and vertically, and then you'll get that little bit of a black border, which is quite lovely. Okay, so now I can put these terracotta color pieces down. And okay, so now we're going to do the swing tab. So I've got pattern paper on the front of the top one, but not on the bottom one. So we're going to take, again, one of those little sayings. This one says, "Don't let small minds convince you that your dreams are too big." These are all just so wonderful. I wish I'd bought like 10 of these when I found them. So what I'm going to do is, so I've got it backed on some chipboard, and I just cut it out. And then I'm just going to punch a hole with my crocodile. I'm going to put one magnet on the bottom part of it. And then I'm going to adhere this whole thing onto some black cardstock and recut it out. Cut this. Okay, so now we've got that. It's just got some black cardstock on the back. And then I'm going to take a second magnet and let it adhere through the cardstock, or magnetize through the cardstock. Put one more little piece of score tape on it. And then need to repunch that hole. Okay, I'm just going to take a pen and decide where it is I want this to sit. And I'm just going to put a little pen mark through that hole. Okay. Take the backing off there, grab a, oh, we need to punch a hole in this first. So open this up to make sure that you don't punch the hole through these flaps as well. So open that up, punch a hole where that little mark is that you made. I'm off a smidge, but it's done now, so I'm gonna leave it. And then we're going to use our brad, and we're going to put it through our little swing tab and through this hole. It's a little bit off center, but I'm going to have to be okay with that. And then open the tines on the back. Okay, and then close this down so that it adheres the other magnet onto that piece. And now we can add the rest of our pattern paper. I always like to put a little bit of score tape over both the magnet and the tines of the brad right here, just so they don't move around where we don't want them to go. Okay, I'm going to put on our last couple of pieces of paper, and I just realized that I don't think the paper in the pocket is adhered yet, so we'll do that after that. Okay, now those can close up, and then we'll put this piece down here. Fabulous. And now that closes, and then in the pocket, yeah, this is still flying free. So when you're putting something into a pocket, you want to make sure that you go in at least a ½ inch. That will help so that your tags don't get caught on the piece of paper. Like say it was like right at the edge here of your pocket. That little lip, things could get caught as they're coming out. But it also helps because your little flaps, your ½ inch sections that are holding the pocket down, this will also go over top of them and help the pocket to stay attached to the page a little more. Okay, so slide it in just a little bit, make sure that it's over top of those ½ inch sections, and push her down. And then we can put these back in. And then on this part here, I'm just going to do the same embellishing that I did. So I'm just going to put one more of these quotes. And I mean, you can use whatever you have in your stash, or you could stamp something and then put it on. You know, the world is your oyster. This one says, "Your life is your message to the world. Make sure it's inspiring." Whoever came up with these quotes are just, they're beautiful. Love them. Okay, and now I'm going to put on my last little bit of embellishing, and then everything is done except for the cover. The last thing we have to do is the cover. So I'm just using a little bit of score tape and some wet adhesive, and then I'm going to clip it for a little while just to make sure that it's nice and strong. And you don't want to use big fat embellishments like this anywhere else but on the very front, because if you have them in this part or in the inside, this might not close. So you want to make sure that it's only on the two inside, outside bits, because they're going to have all this space to close up. So they're going to be okay, but other places it might not work quite as well. So now we're going to work on the cover. So the first thing I want to do is get my closure ready. I'm just going to do a simple ribbon closure for this. So I've just got some ribbon. I'm going to cut 2 lengths of it and put that on my front and back cover. And then I'm going to do a kind of textured brick wall as my cover. So first, with this ribbon, I'm just going to put a little bit of score tape along part of it, maybe 3 inches or so. Okay, and then try and find the center of the album. It's 8 1/4, so about there looks good to me. And then I'm going to do the same on the back. And you just want it long enough that you can tie it together later. Making sure these ribbons are even. Okay, perfect. So now that that is done, we can start the fun part. I've taken some scrap chipboard and I've just cut it into a whole bunch of like different sized rectangles, some different widths, some different lengths. And my plan is to glue them all onto the front cover to kind of look like a brick wall. So I'm going to put some glue down in a couple lines and just start adding them on. And I want it to look like a brick wall, so I really want it to be spaced out a little bit randomly, leaving that little space in between each of them. And we'll cut this one in half. So just keep adding these like this until you're happy with the results. And then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so once you have your faux bricks in the placement that you want them, I'm going to take just some napkins from the dollar store, just normal napkins, but I'm going to peel it apart. So every napkin has like 2 layers. So I'm just going to peel the one layer apart from its patterned layer, because I just want the white part. Okay, perfect. So I'll leave that for another project, and I just want this white portion. So I'm just going to kind of roughly cut it down to the size that I need it to be. Okay, and then I'm going to take a foam brush and just brush on some Mod Podge onto the whole front. I don't know if these are completely dry yet, so I'm going to try and do this a little bit softly. But you just want to get it all coated and into the cracks and everything. Okay, and then we are going to lay our tissue paper over top, and we are going to again do a thinner layer of Mod Podge over top of it. And we want some texture, so you want to kind of like do a little bit of squishing it around, and we want the bricks to look like bricks, so we want them to have a little bit of texture to them. So the wrinkles are your friends. Okay, and I'm just going to take a little end of this. So I just kind of want to go in between. It's okay if the paper rips a little bit, because as you can see in all those pictures from my collection, the bricks are definitely not perfect. So I'm just going to kind of push the Mod Podge into the creases just to really accentuate where the edges of the brick are. Okay, and now we're going to let that dry, and then we are going to paint it. So I've got a little bit of black, a couple different browns, and then a couple colors that I made myself. This one is this espresso and bright red together. They're just dollar store paint, so nothing crazy. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get awesome results. And then I've got a foam brush off to the side that I've been using in another project, and it just so happens to have brown on it, so I'm just gonna kind of use it, and I'm kind of gonna paint the bricks. I don't want to go full coverage everywhere, because I want it to look, you know, like a brick wall. This is going to be my inspiration. Okay, so I'm going to try to make it in a similar vein to that. Okay, and get a little bit of the deep brown in places. Okay, get a little bit of this light tan color, put that more so. I want all the white to be covered. I don't want you to see the white tissue paper, so I'm going to kind of put this a little bit into the grooves to imitate the, what's the stuff that goes in between bricks? The mortar? Mortar? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to use a tiny bit smaller of a paintbrush just to make sure I get into these cracks here. And then add a bit more of the darker colors. Okay, so now I'm gonna take a baby wipe and I'm just gonna take off some of that excess paint because right now there's quite a bit on there. So I don't need that much. So I'm gonna take off some of this excess paint and then we will refine it. I just wanted to make sure that all the cracks were all filled in there. Okay, now I'm gonna add a bit more of the red and the dark. I had some black here, but I think that might be too dark. I like this one here is some of the black and the red mixed together, so it's just like a little bit less than black, which is exactly what I want. Okay, I'm gonna use my baby wipe again and get off any excess. Kind of blotting it because then it gives it a little bit more texture, and you want these bricks to have as much texture as you can to look like that's what the tissue paper did, was to give it a bit more texture. Okay, I think I'm liking this. What do you think? Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry now and then I'm gonna add some embellishments to it. Okay, so this is kind of what I have so far. I had these burlap leaf shapes. I just painted them a couple different colors of green. So just pine green and leaf green. And just kind of dabbed the paint on and let them dry naturally, so they kind of did a little bit of a curl up thing, because I wanted some texture to them. And then I had a couple of these hearts from Tim Holtz. So I'm going to use those, and then these chipboard words are also from Tim Holtz. And then this has been in my stash forever. I'm not exactly sure where I got these door pulls, but I had those as well. I felt it was still a little bit dark, so I took some of those Prima flowers that I used earlier. I'm not sure if I even showed those, but I used a couple Prima flowers, and I just used a little bit of, it was actually Catherine Pooler ink refills, and just kind of painted some of the flowers so they're a little bit yellow. Some of the flowers in the pictures of the collection are yellow. So I'm just gonna kind of glue all these down now and hope that I can remember exactly where I want them. I'm gonna kind of build it up as I go, I suppose. I mean, use whatever you have in your stash. You know, chipboard or metal, or cut some die cuts and layer them up a couple times and ink those. Or, I mean, just use things, random things around your house. It's so, mixed media is very, very cool in that you can do so many things with it. I love that about it. Okay, and there it is. There is the completed album. I love the way it turned out. I'm so happy with it. And again, there's the spine. I just got some more brick pattern on the back, and I put a little bit of like a fancy ribbon in where the two pieces connected there. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and there will be quite a few more to come, along with a whole bunch of Christmas card tutorials coming up. So lots of things happening. All right, I hope you're having an amazing day. See you soon. Love you all. Bye.